And welcome back to Community Crossroads. We are joined by musician John Paul Ortiz. John, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So I know you're here to talk about your new single, but before we get into that, I kind of wanted to know, when did you get started in music? How did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of did a little bit. I actually took guitar in high school, and they had here, there was a class, they had a guitar class, so I started learning it when I was around 18 or so. But my dad always had a bunch of guitars kind of around the house, so I would kind of fiddle around with it and wanted to learn, but I took it more seriously in guitar because it was kind of like an elective class where you could just kind of goof off in the class, but like I was really wanting to learn how to play it. So like from there, I kind of just kept at it and kind of just self-taught. I didn't really, do a lot of lessons, and I didn't really do that. Even when I sing, like people, sometimes they would like assume that I took vocal lessons or something, and I just
So you were just, you were
I kind of just do it.
naturally
Yeah,
gifted.
I always kind of wanted to just do it, and it's a certain thing that I wanted to try, and I always liked, which is strange because normally I'm pretty reserved and kind of introverted, but
do you feel like your music is where you kind of shine? You're able to show off a little bit more?
Yeah, it's a different kind of, it's a different part of your, emotions and personality that you kind of get to express through. And sometimes when you're singing other people's like songs, you get to enjoy like the lyrics that they wrote, and you kind of can kind of take it into what you're actually singing about. And then it's even more personal when it's like your own music.
And so when you approach the writing process, what kind of like routine do you go through?
Yeah, a lot of the writing I actually do with my brother. Like that's actually what the song, the single was the very first poem that when I was in high school, I kind of picked up, and it was kind of inspired by wanting to do this project that we have together. So like a lot of the writing we kind of do, I kind of slice up a bit to kind of make it more into a song, because a lot of them are poems. But as far as I do a lot of some of the writing myself too for some of the newer stuff I'm trying to add in. But yeah, it just depends. Like sometimes you just get inspiration from wherever you're at. You're outside or you're you hear another song and you're like, oh, that's a really good theme, and like I kind of want to do something similar to that, or it's just
so going off that trend of themes, what would you say kind of themes around your newest single?
Yeah, a lot of them are sort of, I like to think they're more like just emotional, like you kind of take it in.
Like thought-provoking.
Yeah, it's thought-provoking.
Yeah.
A lot of the times the music is more love-based. I like a lot of love songs just because it's sort of like, it's something that's kind of universal. It's a universal topic that a lot of people like. You can always talk about different things and being vulnerable for relationships or whatever the things are. There's sort of like the unknown of dealing
kind of
with
letting
things.
that guard down.
Letting your guard down. So a lot of the times the songs are very like that. They're very straightforward, or sometimes they're just very like, I just want to kind of have something where I can tap my toe to.
Yeah.
So it kind of varies, but a lot of the times they're more kind of, I like a lot of the old school songwriters, that the Jim Croce and different kind of people, where they kind of have things that are very like, they just get you immediately, and it's like you just have to stop and listen to it. So I try to get a little bit of that in a bottle and try to bottle it up when I can.
So earlier off camera, we were talking about the kind of sound that you kind of bring, and you said you don't really have like one specific sound that really
I mean,
it
kind of varies. Like I said, my dad, and he influenced me a lot because we had a whole bunch of records when we were growing up. So I just like, Black Sabbath. I get like, just Elliott Smith. A lot of the indie people back in the day, from the 80s and 90s. I like, even when I perform, sometimes I do a lot of some of this 80s songs and 90s songs that I kind of listened to when I was growing up, younger. But yeah, it just varies. Like I usually just, for our own style, like even some Spanish stuff, I kind of try to add in a little bit of influences because I listen to a lot of this stuff like that too. Even though I don't necessarily speak it very well, which I'm trying to work on that. But yeah, it just varies. But I try not to, because I love doing shows with other people sometimes, and they do country and they do R&B and they do soul stuff. So like I kind of just don't really like to say this is what I always want to do. I just want to do one certain thing. It's because it leaves you open to doing, being endless about what you want to do. Inspiration, because it can come anywhere.
All right. Well, John Paul, thank you so much for your time. And for everyone at home, don't go anywhere because we hear from his latest single up